Listen, here's the deal.
What else you got?
But why?
Just do it.
Really, we're trying to get after people's stories.
Because I got to slay the dragons because they're just constantly like, "Argh."
Get down to the grit of it.
If you're not changing, you're dying. That's just the way it is.
So I think we should probably start.
Yes, I cleaned the top.
Can you hear it though?
No? Yes.
Yes.
That's obnoxious.
Yeah.
It's absolutely obnoxious.
Sorry.
No.
Whoa.
Yeah. So we reached 13. All we need to do is reach 1,000 to start
Get
getting
paid.
sponsorships. So Anchor already has a little sponsorship thing. Go ahead, Aaron.
No, it's just one. It's the perfect timing.
No. Yeah. So Anchor has one for $15 per 1,000 listeners. So I think we can have a legit revenue stream here coming up in the next 2 to 3 podcasts. So
Okay.
very pleased.
Time to celebrate
I
this.
think you're right. My turn.
So just a question. So when you
Don't
asked
slurp,
me,
don't
hey,
slurp, man.
Morrill, would you like to try this sour? Did you just... Oh, that one sounded really good.
That was intense.
Oh, okay.
He
You are
doesn't have
pouring
a
me
pop
some.
filter
All right.
like I got. I'm getting muffled here.
That
With
was
this.
intense like camping. Intense.
Thank you, sir.
Give that a shot.
Thanks, brother.
So this is what do we got here?
Yeah, so first of all, probably what I need to do is we need to introduce ourselves, right? So
Oh
let's
my God! Did you taste that,
Yeah, I'm
is
drinking
it good?
dude? That's a
drinking
win.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's
Do
like
you taste,
is for
do you taste a
helping.
graham
This is-
cracker?
Yes.
graham cracker?
Yes. Honey
Wow.
bears. Or Teddy Grahams. That's what they used to call it. Teddy Grahams. Those Teddy
Yeah,
Grahams.
definitely taste the honey. I think.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
that's Excalibur Brewing. By
That's
the way,
pretty
right
good.
around the
Key
corner.
lime.
That's amazing. They
That's because
get
they
a
weren't
shout out.
key lime high. Yeah, so we're drinking right now.
Did a good job.
Excalibur Brewing Company has done a key lime high. What does it say? Burliner?
Yeah.
3.5? 3.5? One of those.
So,
3.5?
Sounds right up my alley.
Lower alcohol, but wow, it's amazing.
Canned on 6/11.
It's good. It's a good date. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Impatient Idealist podcast.
Idealist.
This is Morrill Scott, sitting here with Levi, Wade Miller,
That's me.
and Airrion Fontenot. And
AKA Big
you know,
Black.
I personally want to apologize. On our first podcast, I said everyone in America already knows who we are. Every single person, every home you go into, every TV you turn on, you usually see our faces. So what's the need
That's it.
to introduce ourselves or even explain what we're talking about or what we're doing? And I am sorry. So I wanted to take today for all of us to sit down to basically explain, who are these guys? What are we here to talk about? And what's the future of this? So kind of wanted to get down to the business of kind of where we started, where we're at, where we're going, what inspires you, what gets you out of the bed in the morning. And I actually talked to someone today. I asked them the question. I said, what gets you up in the morning?
Oh, okay.
Right?
Hey-o.
Exactly. And they said, well, usually my alarm clock, but
Touche.
sometimes I naturally wake up. I think you completely missed the point there. I think I was talking more about, hey, what inspires you to want to do something? Oh,
That's funny.
okay.
I was going to say what gets me up is my wife. But
Right. Does that cover both or just?
there it is. Yeah.
Okay. Well, never mind.
The sound effect was about to go right there.
Yeah, that's okay.
that was what
I'll go crawl away.
The dramatical pause was for that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's a good question.
Good question.
But yeah, so let's kind of talk a little bit because I think we all have a little bit of a different background. I think that kind of gives us a good perspective, holistic perspective. So, Airrion, why don't you start us out, man?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do right now? What's your main thing?
What's my main thing or what gets me up?
What's your main thing?
What's my main thing? So my
I already know what gets you up.
Yeah, right. My wife, I told you. Yeah, so my bread and butter, my day-to-day, what pays the bills is I'm a police officer for Conroe ISD Police Department. So that's what I do. That's my 9 to 5.
For sure. So, yeah, keep going.
That's my 9 to 5.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing that?
Let's see, police officer, 10 years now?
10 years?
2010, yeah.
And that wasn't the first thing you did, right?
Oh, gosh, now I've done...
I'm going to need you to go through your list of 37 jobs, if you don't mind.
That's another podcast for sure. Yeah. No, so I'll just mention a few. How's that? Kind of give a little history of who I am a little bit.
Go for it. Glaze over it.
I would say first job was Taco Bell.
Okay.
$4.25 an hour, by the way.
$4.25 an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Was this in the 1970s?
It's just
30s.
It's yeah.
Yeah. 18?
Don't date me. I'm only 21. So, but yeah, I would say I worked at like Taco Bell, a place called Corn Dog 7 in the mall, Palais Royal, Boston Market, veterinarian clinic, skating rink. I was a DJ.
Is this all one crossover business or?
No.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, this is all separate jobs.
Separate places. Yeah. And that was when I was a teenager. So, so just keeps going from there. But yeah, eventually got into law enforcement, and that's what I've been doing.
So what got you into law enforcement? What made you want to pursue that?
I think it was like I like helping people. So I was kind of raised in church and was already on that side of things, spiritually speaking, helping those just kind of get through life and through their struggles. And then I was in a group called Crosswalk with 2 other guys, and we used to go and basically sing, rap, dance, do skits, the whole nine. If you can imagine like a Christian version of Saturday Night Live,
Okay.
we would go to a church and say, hey, we want to do this for a couple days. We take care of everything for you. We'll preach the whole nine. So that was kind of like my first little, I guess, taste of just helping people and helping them see through problems. And then, you need to have a job. And I'm not saying that the churches don't pay, but churches don't pay. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think we've had that conversation a few times before. It's okay.
So you got to go help where they pay you. So I'm Popo, man.
It's all good.
That's what I'm doing.
Levi,
Woo woo.
I know you got a little bit different things going on. If you could also narrow it down to the top 17.
Top 17.
Yeah.
Okay. Shit. Where do you want me to start? Right now, my bread and butter, I guess you could say, is the Project Junkies construction company, which I'm going on, 6 years now? 5 years? 5, 6 years? Something like that.
If
Anyways.
you want to go ahead and plug.
Yeah, sponsored by Project Junkies.
No. I was saying, well, maybe the listeners don't need to know this, and if not, we can edit this out. But Levi's actually looking for.
Oh boy, here we go. Looking for somebody to take over the company.
Yeah.
If you know a guy, get hold of me.
So all 14 or 15 of our listeners, if you're able to.
That's it. 13.
13 at the moment.
3 of them are sitting here.
Hey, that's all good. That means that 10 people volunteered to listen to our voices.
That's true.
That is pretty cool. I appreciate it. But if any of you know anyone who could do a better job than Levi, please call in.
Yeah, I'll definitely sell it to you. Yeah, so Project Junkies construction company, been doing that for 5 or 6 years, and as much fun as it is, it took a lot to get into that. Before that, I worked for pest control, and before that, I was in school for mechanical engineering, and I'm happy to say I'm a college dropout. But before that, I was managing an Ace Hardware store, and the owner kind of paid for a lot of my school, so that worked out. But we had a falling out, and then the Orkin thing started, and that was horrible. And this guy helped talk me off the ledge because spraying for bugs
That's me.
spraying for bugs in a commercial setting sucks, no matter which way you spray it, like crawling under shit and roaches and the whole nine. So that was not for me. I didn't want to do that. Started the construction company and haven't looked back. And since then, Airrion and I started Trilogy Brew, which is awesome. And we also started Dragons and Unicorns Coffee. And I became a real estate agent. And now we do house shit. And yeah, got my hands full, man.
You get a lot to think about on a daily basis.
Too much.
How do you manage all those different things in one day?
I don't think I do a very good job at that.
Also, if you're one of
My
our
wife
listeners
helps.
and you have an idea there, please submit.
Yeah, my
Comments
wife
below.
helps. She helps a lot. But the best way that I've had it explained to me is that I have a lot of good people in my life that help pick up the pieces. And so the way it was explained is, hey, you're a visionary, you have a vision, you have a goal, and you're very driven. But as you plow through this shit, you kind of throw everything into the air, and then the people that are behind you, they help you pick up the pieces. And without people like my wife that help hold everything together, and Airrion that are like glue, man, shit, there's no way I can do it.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's glad you got a little team atmosphere going on here.
Team's a win, man. Team's a win.
Oh yeah, you're in the hot seat, buddy. It's your turn.
Oh, do I?
Yeah,
Do I get to answer
Morrill,
questions?
Yeah, you gotta
Morrill,
answer all
Scott,
the
please tell us a little bit about what you do. What is your
Sure.
day-to-day? What makes you get out of bed?
My alarm clock.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
No, but maybe it'd be better to start maybe in college. So came into LSU, Go Tigers.
Oh yeah,
Didn't
you're,
know
you're the educated out of us, by the way. So
Let's
As
go
of-
with an X at the end.
as of now. But yeah, started at LSU, didn't really know a ton of what I wanted to do, so I actually had 3 majors going into LSU. I was in horticulture, anthropology, and history. Still going to graduate in 4 years due to clever overlapping. Did a little Army ROTC, dabbled in that. Didn't work out. Got out of that thing. Started going with the horticulture. Stayed in that for the entire thing. That's what my degree's in now.
Slow down real quick. There's people out there that are going, what? Did he say horror?
Oh, yes.
Horticulture? Or does he study?
Horticulture.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Just give him a little, what does that mean? What are you,
Yeah,
you digging
so-
in ditches? What was going on?
Well, sure. I mean, it's really just the cultivation of fruits and vegetables, a little bit different than agriculture, which would be more row crops as far as maybe, corn, soybean, that type of thing. Horticulture is more maybe labor intensive farming type things. Your nurseries, things of that nature would kind of fall under that umbrella. Any types of fruits and vegetables, for the most part, fall under that.
like sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes, which was my forte at LSU. I worked doing some sweet potato genetics research.
See, this is where he got us
That's
that one
amazing.
day. It's
You're
just
like,
too much.
excuse me? Yeah, but did some lab work. Definitely did some outside stuff too, even though Levi seems to think I'm prissy little girl. I actually drove tractors.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
There you go.
I can try and dig up some videos, but
Yeah, we're going to need that.
yeah, we need some
B-roll.
Yeah,
Check.
me in the tractors. But yeah, drove some tractors around, mowed some grass, took care of some farm plots.
nice.
Did that whole thing. And I was pretty sure that the genetics thing was the way I wanted to go. Fairly certain. It's where the money was at. I was like, I kind of don't want to be outside all day, so this gives me the opportunity to do it. But I think I had some questions about it. And then I started watching some videos of people making fun of CrossFit.
CrossFit.
And then eventually further down that YouTube rabbit hole, when you're like watching one video and then 16 later,
Yep.
you're like, oh, how'd I end up here?
Yeah.
We're familiar.
I ended up at actually watching some CrossFit athletes doing their thing. And I was like, wait a second, humans are doing these things.
Yeah, yeah.
This is crazy. I need to check this out. So I was kind of getting bored with doing my regular bodybuilding-esque style stuff. Went and tried CrossFit, and I was like, man, this is great. I love
Sold.
the community of it, the variety of it, and just I think you learn so much, not just about movements, but kind of also about yourself as far as like mentally, your limits and things like that, or your discipline, your drive, things of that nature, that I was like, man, I kind of want to devote my life to this. So then completely switched. Didn't do horticulture out of college and went deep into CrossFit. So did that for maybe like a year and a half, coaching CrossFit, trying to do my own thing, try to do my own little training program on the side that it didn't end up working out. But now I'm in Houston, Texas. I was in Baton Rouge, so I moved maybe like 6 months ago. Now I'm working as a avocado aficionado.
There you go. Avocado Man. We've been trying to coin that for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
Cutting
so
that.
but doing a little bit of everything in the horticulture field. So who knows what comes next? I still like the gym thing. I do that on the side. I like helping people, just like Airrion was saying. But who knows? I kind of like doing a bunch of stuff. Kind of like you, Levi. I mean, there's a ton of stuff to do. There's a ton of interest I have. Why not
yeah.
try and pursue them? But I think part of the difficulty in that is if you do so many different things and you're so widespread sometimes, and if they're not necessarily overlapping, the maybe transition time mentally to go between, hey, I'm going to do Project Junkies, and then I'm going to transition to thinking about how to run a cafe.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm going to transition to thinking about how to sell a house. Sometimes, some things might not necessarily overlap there. Obviously, there's going to be things I do.
Oh, it's rough.
But I think, I'm trying to remember what book this was in. It might have been Deep Work, Cal Newport. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll check it out.
But anyway, talking about transition time between different work topics. So if you're somebody who is constantly switching tasks, your mind is almost got like a little sludge on it. You're not
Sure.
running at full percentage because you've been switching around too much. So I think maybe finding a way to be more efficient with the time you spend on each one and knowing how to transition between things and still stay refreshed, it's an important part of it. I got to figure it out too.
Yeah.
Yep, I hear that.
Juggling.
Or just ditch some of the things that you decided to try and don't like.
So if you had to pick one
I'm all
we're
thing,
about
at.
that. Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
so if you had to pick one thing right now to drop, Levi, what would it be?
It's a drop?
Yeah.
Can I pick 3?
Yes.
Jeez.
Okay, yeah. So Project Junkies is awesome as financially. The construction company is great, and honestly, it really never slows down. I'm always working, and it does allow me the freedom, right? I can work when I want, and kind of take some time off when I want, honestly, because I build the schedule. So it is great, but I'm going to be honest, man. I don't want to do that for the next 20, 30 years, you know? And yeah, I can hire people to do things and things like that, but I just, my fear, and it seems like fear kind of runs a lot of decisions, is what, you know, is somebody else going to run it like I do? Probably not. And that's really difficult to find that person, you know? But if I could drop something, I'd probably move away from Project Junkies. I'd sell it or have somebody manage it and move into something else. But Airrion and I talk about the cafe all the time. And that's a big one, man, because this place that we're in is the most amount of work with the least amount of return. And I think I said that last podcast. And he said to specify it is returning on the investment when it comes to people and interactions and all of that, the networking. But man, when it comes to the financial part, it's the most work, most amount of time with the least amount of return. And I don't think we would do it again.
Yeah.
So would you think about trying to wiggle your way out of this, or do you think a pivot perhaps is due?
I don't know. That's a good question. I know that this needs to be financially stable before we, hand it over to somebody, if that makes sense. Because if we're going to be raw here, nobody wants a place that's not at that point yet. And then on top of that, if we were to bring somebody in that's going to take care of it like we do, once again, financially, it's just going to cost us a fortune to do so. So between us and our wives, lately we've been killing it. But man, it's taken a lot of work and learning to get here. I mean, we're 4 years total into this, or 4.5 years total, but 2 years in the brick and mortar going on it, and we're still trying to figure it out. It's rough. But I will say this to the doing all kinds of different things. Finding what you love is at the forefront of my list, and actually doing what drives you. And I will say that, like, the business creation process, and I think Airrion can side with me on this, but the business creation process is like, it's intoxicating. It's like that is just such a fun, creative process. And to take something that's just an idea and actually execute that and make something of that, especially something that is making money, or if you take this place for what it is, the brick and mortar that it is, and the fact that it pretty much does pay for itself, like, that's an achievement. That's, it's something that you just can't get from kind of working for somebody else. And that's the part that sucks me in. And so when I want to go out and I want to do something else and I want to start something new, that's the draw for me. And it's irreplaceable. I love it. So.
Yeah, and I think that kind of wraps us around to the who or what gets you out of bed in the morning. And I think definitely something where you're seeing, or at least it's a more tangible, that your work is directly giving you a return in some way, shape, or form. And it's something that you have complete ownership of. It's not, hey, I did a ton of this work, so now it goes up to the next person, up the chain, and so on and so forth, until either it becomes something or fizzles out.
Yeah, and I love the part the fact that you brought up the ownership part, because there's so much, especially on social media, there's so much of this Instagram CEO, if you want to call it that. And it's, the people that are just, I'm CEO of my own company, but, I sell T-shirts through Spreadshirt. And I'm not dogging on that, because there's people out there that just make a fortune doing that, and that's awesome. Right. But the people that are winning, people that are making a fortune doing it, or that are running their cafe, that are doing well, like, man, it takes a lot. And it's not just, I get up and I go work for somebody 40 to 50 hours a work week. It's, I get up and I go and I work 80 hours a week for myself. And then when I get home, like, the family takes the business and the family starts working. And so it's a never ending task. I mean, there's times that, we're here at the cafe until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning because we have open mic night, or we have people that are doing paranormal investigations like we had this last weekend, just some crazy stuff, and man, it's always going to take more to run your own business than it is to run somebody else's. So, yeah.
So you said winning.
Yeah.
You've used this term a lot.
We try to stay away from the L, right? The big L, because we take some of that too.
Yeah.
Lethargy.
So, sure. Yeah, that one.
It's terrible. But how do you define winning? I mean, wouldn't that be different for everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, it's not being in and I'm pretty hard on myself, so I guess it would be not being in a depressive state, knowing that, hey, I'm moving forward tomorrow. I've got goals, and at least I'm getting closer to them, right? If I'm going backwards, then I don't feel like I'm winning. So, and yeah, absolutely, it's going to be different for everybody, because there are people out there that they want the 9 to 5, and they want the sense of security and things like that. And man, I would like to say that I like to thrive a little bit on the risk. So.
Yeah, I think we've had a couple conversations about risk.
Oh, yeah.
And risk management. But Airrion,
Yep.
what do you think winning is?
Life balance.
There you go.
That's good.
How do you do that?
Yeah, so you talked about juggling things earlier. I think you realize that it depends on the personality, first off. So if you're a helper like me, then usually you say yes to most things before considering all the consequences and time it takes.
Sure.
So, but that's what helpers do, right? We just help. So I think winning would be looking at that list. Actually, I had a binder back in the day, and I basically just listed all the things that I was attached to, and then breaking down how much energy, time, and effort was going towards those things, and then breaking down my schedule by the day on what I could give to it. And even working at a 9 to 5 job, you were given so much time to Trilogy or to Dragons or to not even just I named the companies, but not just having to come here and help here, but like thinking about down the road. You know what I mean? Like the creative process. What do we want the place to look like? It used to look like this. We want to slowly change it into this, right? We want the cafe we want you to come get coffee, but we want you to drink beer. Like we want to be a bar. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but we don't want to, downplay any of the cafe stuff. So yeah, just being able to take those things and juggle them. And then as you see that, you're starting to drop some things, too many things, and it gets to be too much and unmanageable, to slowly go, okay, what do I need to let go of?
Sure.
You know what I mean? What's maybe not producing enough fruit, or maybe it needs more time and I need to back off of something that I've given way too much time because it's kind of running itself, And this place has done that. At times we've been able to just kind of come in and kind of keep an eye on it, at Trilogy Brews, look, and then we're good, pick up a few things, say a few things, but we hadn't had to like really get in there and scrub toilets and like change stuff. And then there's other times where Levi's under the building, digging and whatever, filth is under there trying to fix a pipe because it busted, things of that nature. Or me talking to a manager or somebody who's having a hard time or having a rough time and behind the bar, and they need to just kind of share some stuff, right? They're having some personal issues in the middle of a shift. So we even had weird stuff like people coming in and they need to be kicked out, and just coming here to help with that. So I would just say that life balance is pretty much kind of my, banner this year after juggling so many different things. Because like I told you about the binder, I looked at how many things that I was attached to. And some of those things were Levi. So like Trilogy Brew.
Physically attached to Levi.
Yeah.
Well, it happens.
Yeah. Well, that's what we do. But yeah, it was like 2 or 3 things with Levi business ventures. And then I had my full-time job. Then it was like, you also have a family, and I have 3 daughters, right? Then I was also serving on staff at a church. I was also running the security team for the church, you know what I mean, at the same time. So like, and then managing officers for my job to come work at the church to help them out whenever they needed. So it was just a lot. You know what I mean? It was like, okay, stuff's going to fall through the cracks. So
did you feel at any point during that time, I mean, really, it's a never-ending time. It's always a balance. But do you feel like there's a specific culprit? Like, do you feel like there's something that always, maybe culprit's not the right word, but do you feel like there's always something that you're like, oh man, when I get busy, this is the thing that I let fall by the wayside, for better or for worse?
Oh gosh, no, not now. Maybe back then, maybe, yeah. But no, not now.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned having to kick people out, and I think when a lot of people start a business, they might not ask themselves tougher questions or how to handle weird, rarely occurring situations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like working at a gym, hey, figuring out when someone there is, no matter if they're a paying customer, how much are they really worth to your bottom line? How willing are you to keep up with or deal with their antics until you're like, yeah, I think you should just not return.
Yeah.
So how do you guys handle that? I mean, that's got to be, one, a tough conversation to have, but two, what's the judgment on that?
Well, Airrion uses verbal judo
Yeah.
to whoop their ass. So
Yeah.
that's how that happens.
Yep.
Yeah, usually if it's a conflict, someone's here. I think recently we had someone here, some of the girls that just felt uncomfortable that were attending here, and just mentioned it to us. Got back to our staff, and then staff mentioned it to us, and then just ask them to leave. Hey man, tonight just call it a night. That kind of thing. Other times it's been worse where we've had to actually call police.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
then you show up, and then it gets serious.
No, I'm already here. So if I'm here and I'm calling the police, it's right, for sure, it's
right.
good. So, but yeah, but it's for their safety as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we want to try to keep, especially with what's going on right in society right now, we want to keep from having things escalate. My whole job is to de-escalate that situation because everyone has a bad day. One of the things when I used to talk to the security guys at church, when we would walk the halls, we had people volunteering in our kids' rooms. And I would tell them, hey, look, I want you to look in each room, just because you've seen them week to week and they've been really sweet with those kids doesn't mean they're not going to have a bad day.
Sure.
So, and you're kind of the line of defense because parents are in the sanctuary. They're not going to get to see this kind of stuff with their kids, right? So they're kind of that extra protection for the kids when someone's in there and they're just sick of kids crying and they just lose it. We were kind of there for that. So that's kind of what we do here.
Nice.
Boom.
Now, Levi,
yeah,
you have a family. You have a wife.
that's as much of a family as I want. No pets, no kids, just a wife and I killing it. That's it.
No kids, no dogs, no nothing. Do
No.
we want to delve this deeply into your personal life right now?
No fish, nothing. That's it.
Why?
A
excuse me.
lot of reasons.
But why?
A lot of reasons. We've had this discussion before about the businesses. Honestly, you said something about like taking on too much, right?
Sure.
And you think of a family of kids or a family with a bunch of kids and you're at the grocery store or whatever and the kids are just running amok, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they just cannot get control. Well, we look at the businesses like children, right? Each one needs different attention. Each one needs to be directed in a different manner. And so we treat it like kids, we try to handle it that way. Unfortunately, fortunately, you can't sell kids, but you can sell businesses. And so at some point, we'll let those go and we'll just pretend like, the kid's 18 and is leaving the nest. But yeah, it's the businesses are our babies, man. And then handling that and learning that balance is rough.
Have either of you had to sell a business or like dissolve a business?
We did dissolve an LLC, and that was just due to partnership issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in the past, and we let it go. So
I tried to start a social media thing a while back called Chinchilla Method.
Okay.
I was really wanting to get my feet wet. Like Levi explains this experience where he had left the pest control and jumped out and did construction and, building it kind of from the ground up. And so I wanted to know what that was like because I haven't had to because we have such a good team, right? We're really good with each other. I haven't had to do all the things that this business requires. So I was like, man, I need to have that. Chinchilla Method, yeah. So I wanted to start a company that basically, that I could, I did the finances, I did the budget, I did the website stuff, like, try to put my hands in all of it just to get that under my belt. And listen,
Yep.
that is not me. It's not. So, yeah, there's plenty of things that I could do well, for sure, and I loved. That was a nice can open, by the way.
oh yeah,
But yeah, there's some parts that I was just like, man, I really worked better with the team. So, and some things that I got frustrated with. So I backed down off of that. And right now, Chinchilla Method is just chilling. It's an Instagram where I just take fun pictures. But yeah. But I still do the social media stuff for Trilogy Brew, and
Right.
it's enough.
I am so, not that I'm anti-social media, but I just don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna change that.
We noticed.
I think, yeah, I've definitely heard that from multiple people. They're like, so I see it there, but it's not moving.
Yeah, and now you're running a podcast, so
Yeah. So I guess I got to convince people to listen or something, or show people that I'm cool and I'm interested and I can drive tractors.
might be a good idea. I'm gonna need some of that tractor footage. Hey, seriously though, what he's talking about with the like realizing that you work better with a team. I'm the same way, as in like I have to have the backup. Like I started Project Junkies on my own and I ran 110% with that, and it did very well, but it is the fastest way to wear yourself out, like 100%. So, I mean, you fast forward a year into the company and I'm still running 110. Wow, it's exhausting. And I think that probably plays into the previous question of wanting to dive into other things. And I would say I definitely have too much on my plate right now, but not everything takes precedence. So like the real estate is a good example. I got my real estate license because I've owned multiple homes and I'm tired of throwing money away. Not because I have a profession in real estate and that's, I constantly do that. I've been lucky because I've been able to save friends money.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to sell friends houses, and then they're not paying full commissions and things like that. So it's been a blessing just to be able to do that for people. But like I'm not a real estate agent all the time while I'm a, construction guy all the time while I'm a cafe guy all the time. So, and we do really well with the cafe because of the overlap, so I'm able to fix a lot of the shit and he's able to handle a lot of the people issues. Right. And because of that, I can take a back seat on some shit. He can take a back seat on some shit, even though we're still here together, if that makes sense, because just having the team is crucial here.
Yeah.
So in the business ventures that y'all are both a part of, and y'all are major parts of both, right? Two?
Yeah, pretty much. One of them, Dragons and Unicorns, it pretty much runs itself. We ship coffee all over the country, but it's mostly an online business, and the coffee's roasted and then it's shipped. I mean, there's not a whole lot of, stuff that happens in the middle. Now there's, selling at his job, that he'll have people come up to him or customers and say, hey, man, I need to get a couple bags of coffee for next week or whatever, and he'll pull that, get the money, and then, bring it back, and that way they don't have to pay shipping, all that kind of stuff. But outside of that, man, I mean, it's a really seamless company. It kind of runs itself. And so that's one that has been fairly profitable from the very beginning. Like it moves, and it doesn't take the work like the cafe does. So,
yeah, buddy.
So in the ones that you are a part of it together, what skill sets or what pieces of the puzzle do you feel like each of you bring, and where do you complement each other? Where do you conflict?
Yeah, well, I think I touched on that a little bit. I fix shit. That's my absolute number one. It doesn't really matter what setting we're in. If we're in the cafe, pipe breaks under the building, I'm the one that's crawling under there to fix it. Now, fortunately, I have the backup. And I have hey, I need the wrench. Throw me the wrench from 15 feet away under the building. But then the people side of things, I would like to be more hands off. You guys have heard me use the term "people suck." And man, I don't use that lightly. I think that I really do. Listen, people.
I'm not a pessimist.
Yeah, well, people just don't try not to suck. That's the issue. If people just, we're better people, then maybe we wouldn't have
Stop sucking, people.
Issues.
Stop your sucking.
God damn it. Figure
No
it
more
out.
sucking.
Yeah, we're done with it. So.
Yeah, the way I like to explain it with people that were here was that Levi is whole houses, and there's stuff that breaks, right? And that even includes like the financial things as well, keeping us on budget, things of that nature, right? His wife has really taken on a really big role too, being with the staffing and like all of the product behind the bar, from coffee to Dragon's coffee as well. You know what I mean? She's kind of double dipping, right? And then I like to take control of the front of the house, the events, as well as they let me dibble and dabble a little bit in the back of the house for some of the inventory, right? Just to make sure we have enough milk and stuff like that. I'll go run to H-E-B and that nature, but ordering the beer, making sure we have some talent on those nights we want to have fun. comedy night's coming up, stuff like that. We're gonna have poker and
When is this
birthday
comedy
party.
night?
Oh, it's gonna be at the end of the month. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's every last Friday of the month.
Oh, all right. That
So
sounds
we're
pretty
back
sick.
we're back up since Corona is, kind of. I think next week they say 75% we're supposed to all be running our bars and places.
Yeah,
So
provided we don't go backwards.
that's true. I
Yeah.
did see a little news bleep on that, but
Yeah.
but yeah, man, we do poker and all kinds of different stuff like that. But yeah, so I usually deal with the people
And we're a huge
unless they're getting
event-driven-
fired.
Yeah,
Then I like to give them the Levi. It's great.
dude.
Levi's the firing
I do.
guy.
He's
my
got it
my wife
down.
won't even handle it as much as she will handle it if I'm like, babe, I can't make it. You're gonna have to do this one. But I really just don't have a problem doing that.
It's kind of
like
the
just
science.
be better.
Well, the smile on your face right now has me a little
It's-
concerned.
yeah, it's kind of
Wow.
it's kind of sick how easy it is for him.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
whatever.
It's crazy how wide his eyes go when he talks
Dude,
about it.
It's
huh?
like he's getting married when you just
Well,
smiling big.
now listen, it happened. So I think where I get that from is I managed that Ace Hardware store for 4 years, and so through that management process, we didn't even have an HR when I took over the management position, and so I created the HR documents, the manual, like all of that, and I also took hold of hiring and firing people, and correcting issues and all of that kind of shit, and it was just. I don't know. It was like a learning experience that you can't learn in school. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
So
The big binder.
yeah, there it is.
With hiring and firing, what do you think about this phrase?
Go ahead.
Okay, be slow to hire, but quick to fire.
I disagree.
I thought it was quick to hire, quick to fire.
That's where we live.
Yeah, I definitely. The ones I heard from people was
Slow?
slow to hire, quick to fire. That way, you're really sure.
Yeah.
So
About
I
the
think,
person you're hiring.
I think Gary Vee coined it the other way.
Yeah, I think it's
quick-
because we're
quick
big
and
Gary Vee fans.
That's why you need to watch something else than Gary Vee too. There's
Well,
actually
well-
actually other people on this planet.
That's true. But I mean,
Are you sure?
But no one's
Have you
no
met
one's
Gary?
no one's better.
They're
than-
not as loud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
right. Yeah, I would say I think we've actually acted slowly on hiring before, but yeah, when we really need the bodies, especially when we ramp up to big events like Crawfish, you want to have the people in here and you want them trained.
Sure.
And then the thing is too, like if you're vetting the paperwork and you're putting out the right hook, if you will, like, hey, we need a barista, someone who's willing to do that, and you want to come join our team, and this is the kind of level of excellence that we expect here. Then we just give them a shot. Let's go. I mean, if there's any red flags, then they don't get the shot. But
That's the deal.
Yeah.
Is the problem is that we live in such a society that for the longest amount of time it's been based off of this piece of paper that we call a resume. And to be quite honest, man, that doesn't tell you whether or not it's a good person or a hard worker. Not anymore. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
And so, provided you get them in here and there's not the red flags, let them run. If they run,
we're good.
that's awesome. We call it hustle. If they're not running, they just don't stay.
Well, I will disagree with the resume thing,
Yeah.
because being the corporate job person
Sure, you're a
out
different side.
of the three of us,
Yeah.
I've only had one interview out of all the different jobs I've done.
Yeah.
I've only been interviewed once, and that was for one at LSU,
Yeah.
right? So I don't necessarily think it's always the case where it's like, hey, this is your resume. I think it serves as a good, like, hey, here's some of the cool things I've done.
Right.
But I think a lot of that, I don't know, I hate the networking word or just the idea of that.
But there's truth in that.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely truth in it, but I just hate to, because then it just seems so ingenuine to me.
Sure.
Hey, I'm networking. Be like, why don't you just go talk to people?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that might be a little bit more where things are going today. Not necessarily saying it's who you know, but I think it's, if you're out there and you're talking to people and people can build a relationship with you,
Yeah.
I think that goes a longer way than having as many 3-letter acronyms you can.
Right.
Or I guess if it's an MD, it's only 2 after your name.
Yeah.
Only 2.
Well,
I got none, so there's that.
We've had people here that didn't have a resume. I mean, they were that young, and then when they got behind the bar,
Do
were
we
like,
need to talk about child labor laws?
they were, yeah, they're just young.
This is Texas,
They're-
buddy.
yeah, they're
This is
18.
Texas,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
They can work when they can work.
Yeah. But yeah, they get behind the bar and you're like, okay, how is it that this 18-year-old is like wiping the floor with this, 24 or 5-year-old, and they have like this thick resume where they've worked at multiple places.
Right.
And maybe just an appreciation, maybe it's how they were brought up, but just to say that, just because you have a good resume doesn't mean that you're going to be a good person to hire,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 100% for that. You just can't tell good people until you've worked with them, or maybe you've built a relationship with them. Is probably a good one.
You should tell them about, because we started doing, at first I think we hired just right off the bat, like looking at stuff. We were like, oh, in that interview, and we were like, okay, we would go back and talk. But then I think we moved to, what was it, the first day we would do like a work
interview.
Yeah, they basically work with his wife Angela or whatever, and that's when it was like,
And we actually started doing that with groups. So we'd bring in 2 or 3 people at a time,
like that.
and we'd throw them all behind the bar with my wife, and she would say, okay, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to all make this drink. I'm going to show you how to do it.
Yeah.
And then we'll see who retains the information, and then we'll kind of move on, right? And, I mean, yeah, of course, there's some people that take a little bit longer to learn, and we have no problem with coaching up, but you can tell the people that are driven and the people that want the position, because they're the ones that are saying, let me get in there. Even if I'm going to fail, like, let me get in and give it a shot.
Sure.
Whereas you can also see the other side, and it's the people that are like, I'm not ready. Well, are you going to try? Like, this is an interview. It's not about making the drink perfect after seeing it one time. It's just not about that. It's about, hey, you have the hustle? Are you willing to work for it? Like, let's see that. That's what we want, because you can teach anybody to make coffee, but you can't teach somebody not to suck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People suck.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of the group interview and the kind of being on the job while doing it. I think that's a good way to go about it. When I was at LSU, I was an RA for 2 years, resident assistant, living in the dorms, coaching up our young men and women that are coming up, showing them all the ropes.
Yeah.
And they do the same thing. Well, similar. It's not the exact same, because it's kind of hard to do what an RA does, not being an RA.
Yeah, already affiliated, yeah.
But they did a lot of like group interview type things where you maybe solve different puzzles, or you got to interact with groups in different ways. And I do think that's a little more revealing about people than in just a one-on-one interaction.
Sure.
Because then you get to see, okay, well, how are they dealing with people? All right, maybe this one girl is out of her mind. How's this other girl going to deal with that? Yeah. Is she going to blow up on her? Is she going to shrink away? How does she handle when people act out of the normal? How'd you come up with that?
Well, I'm going to go right back to my background at ACE, because it was kind of the same thing, especially a business like that, where, and this is going to sound kind of screwed up, but it is what it is. We needed individuals that could load concrete and could load mulch. We have a customer come in and say, hey, listen, I need 32 bags of concrete. We need somebody who can do that. So really, it's a workhorse. Like, I don't need you to be able to do inventory. I don't need you to, crunch numbers for us behind a desk. Like, I just need you to load concrete, And so it's a lot easier to hire people for stuff like that. But when you've got 3 registers going and you've got a ridiculous amount of customers coming in and out the door each week, you need somebody that maybe has a little more skill set behind the register, right? And so what I devised at ACE was, there was actually an interview, I don't want to say test, because I'm not about testing. The education system's broken and it's built for testing, and I'm tired of that. However, I did build some sort of like a quiz that said, hey, how are you when it comes to, basic math? Because if you're behind a register and the computer fucks up, like, I need you to be able to do the change, And you would be surprised how many people just can't do that. But so we would do group interviews. They would have the little quiz deal. And then my favorite was the Legos, because I wanted people that were different thinkers. And so I would actually bring in a thing of Legos, and they would each get a pile of Legos. And then we would say, hey, listen, build me something. I don't care what you build. Let's just see what you can come up with. And it was just really testing the creativity and whether or not they were going to work together, test whether or not they were going to think outside the box and become a group, because some people have parts that others don't, and things like that. And some people were awesome at it and some people weren't. And it wasn't about how intricate and awesome the structure was. It was about watching the people who are in the interview and what they can do and how they can think. And that's like way more important than do you already know the difference between PT pine and yellow pine? That's
Definitely the first word.
I'm gonna go with the colors. But I was gonna say,
you got it, nailed it.
Boom! I killed that interview. I had an interview with, it was Conroe ISD long ago, and it was for like their, oh my god, like what was like food service department or whatever, and they would just haul a bunch of food in different places. Anyways, killed the interview, walked out, and she said, "Okay, what I need you to do is empty this pallet of stuff and put it on that pallet of stuff." And they'd put a pallet, empty pallet, I don't know, 10 to 20 feet away from the pallet that had all the stuff on it. And they were like, "All right, go." And it was just, they wanted to see how much I could like go from one place to the next, you know, and drop this stuff off or whatever. It was cool, man. It was a cool experience. Yeah. Do we have someone here?
I'll grab it real quick.
Okay. We got someone showing up. I love it.
Yeah, that's all right. Live studio audience.
Who's that?
I think it was Catherine.
Catherine's coming in? Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Was this anticipated?
No, had no idea. Yeah.
All good. But anyway, you know, for all of Levi talking about he's not a systems guy,
Yeah.
definitely brought up a lot of systems there.
No, he got systems.
Yeah, didn't you catch
Well,
that?
it's not systems as much as it is like a processes maybe.
Okay.
So like I got a buddy of mine that doesn't park in driveways. Like he just refuses to park in someone's driveway
Okay.
because he doesn't want to be the guy that has to be asked to move, you know? Just like stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, you know, the one that always knocks on the door when they go to the bathroom, even though they pretty much know no one's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Just that, like, you know,
Yeah.
oh, just want to make sure. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be the guy that walks in. So, like, just having that little extra step of, like, you know, I'm just going to not, you know. So he's got a lot of that. Like, touching his face. You need to ask him about touching his face. Washing his hands, stuff like that. It's funny.
Yeah. Wait, are you talking about the washing his face with alcohol? Is that what you're
Oh,
saying?
no. He's definitely dripping bleach all over his face somehow or something.
Right.
It's weird.
I was really
Yeah, it's weird.
Over the weekend we had a conversation about I don't know what we were having a conversation about, but washing of faces was brought up, and Levi's like, "Yeah, I just take like 70% isopropyl alcohol and I just wash my face." I'm like, "What the hell?"
Are you guys
What are
talking
you-
about my face washing right now?
Yeah.
We're talking about
we
your
know.
processes.
That's kind of jacked. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is your process.
Right.
And
I
the
missed like 3 minutes of my processes.
Yeah,
That's not good.
one
Let's do
process
some.
I think we really need to talk about and drill into is
Go
how
ahead.
is your skin not peeling off right now based on the 70% isopropyl alcohol?
90.
Excuse me, 90. Such resilience.
I feel like you're kind of leaving this 10%, bro. I think you need to go full alcohol on it, bro. Just like,
Yeah, the vodka. I'll start using vodka to wipe my
just
face
get that
instead.
151 and go to
Yeah.
town.
But listen, just to touch on that for a second, I don't do that every night.
Here's the deal.
But yeah. Sorry, it works.
Well, now that you're back, I feel a little more uncomfortable talking smack directly to your face. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
but I
Save it
do.
for
What we
another
were
time.
talking about is, you know, you always said you're not a systems guy, but a lot of what you just explained seemed to me systems. Airrion said, no, processes. What do
That's
you
probably a
think?
good word. I think processes is a good word. I think that I like to make like calculated moves would be a good way to put it. However, remember earlier I was explaining that I'm not very good at like picking up the pieces. Like I kind of charge through something and I throw a bunch of shit behind me, and then I have people that help me pick up the pieces and put them together. You know, so think of me like running and throwing a bunch of Lego blocks, and then the person behind me helps assemble that. And I think that that's like the best way that I can put me together. Now, when he says that I've got processes, yeah, of course I've built systems and things, but
Frameworks.
there you go. Frameworks is a really good word. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I
There it
wouldn't say that I'm good at it. I don't excel at that. And especially when it comes to doing something like this, I think is a perfect example, because we had a day where you got a little bit frustrated where we weren't being as productive as we could have been. And part of that probably has to it's all right.
Honesty's coming
it's
on
all right.
in.
It's all right. We can deal with the honesty.
Coming
People
in
wanna see
hot.
that. It's raw.
Oh,
So anyways, listen.
You can't see him, but he's red. Morrill is
I have a
fiery
very,
red.
I have a very expressive vascular system.
Okay, that's all right though. This is good because
Poker face. Keep going.
this is good because we need somebody like that. Because Airrion's really good at keeping us on track when it comes to doing things, but bringing a plan to the table and saying, hey, we're going to do this for 30 minutes. We're going to do this for 15 minutes. We're going to do this for 25 minutes. And then over the course of that time, this is where we should be. We should be from A to, I don't know, D by that point. And you're really good at that. And I'm not really good at that, but I can build A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So
Yeah, and I think, that definitely, we did have that conversation, and I didn't want it to make it seem like
you were frustrated.
I was for sure.
It was like
It's
itchy
okay.
anus. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But, yeah, I mean, I do think we got somewhere after that, being like,
Yeah,
hey,
absolutely.
what do we need to do to actually get this thing off the ground?
Gosh.
How do we get to double-digit listeners? Turns out, put out one
We did.
podcast.
Organically.
I will say that with that being said, having things, you're also good at this, but having things like in the open and on the table and just being able to talk about that, that's a huge deal, especially when it comes to business, because we've already been down that road and resentment leads to bitterness.
Sure.
And it's just not good.
Yeah.
So let's
we
talk
love
about it.
we love our friendships, man. We don't want those to end either.
Yeah, which is part of how we started developing this relationship, because you came in and you already had that glow of hustle in you, and you wanted to do something with it. And we also share wanting to pour into people.
Yeah.
Like we want to make people better. As much as I say people suck, we want to help people and we want to, enrich whatever it is that they might be doing or want to succeed at. And that's part of the reason we have this place. It's part of the reason we do the events with the open mics and we have the podcasting space and the vlogging space and all that. So we like pouring into people.
Yeah, I can remember first moving here and then coming, and one of the first weekends that we were in here, met you guys, started talking to you guys, and after coming up here a few more times, talking about, hey, what things outside of your 9 to 5 do you want to do? And talked about the podcast at the time. I still had the same name. This might have been like
Oh yeah.
4 months ago.
I just remember saying, write it on the board.
Yeah.
If you write it on the board, it'll get done.
Right. So we wrote it on the board, wrote some bullet points. And,
yeah.
And now it's getting done.
There
and
you go.
it's a tangible thing,
Round 2.
which
Yep.
is weird to think about. I mean, it's
One of the things that we struggle with is pouring into somebody who doesn't have the hustle. That's the issue. Like they want us to do the work for them, and we're just done doing
Be
that.
all the fire,
We've poured too much into too many people, and they don't want to run, if that makes sense. And so one of the things that you showed us that was just different is you showed up and said, no, I'm going to go buy some equipment. Like, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
So, and then the joke is, no, we can do it with one mic. And you're like, from the bat, no, we're going to need 3 mics.
Yeah.
Like, nah, we can do it with 1 mic. And it turns out we needed 3 mics. And so you buy the equipment to handle the 3 mics, and we get our mics. And
Yeah.
dude, it's the execution. And so you brought a piece of that, and not everybody does that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting to see kind of where it goes from here and what we can do to build it. And I think that's not something that I excel at, is especially from a creative aspect, how to take something that you pour into and convince other people that it's worth something.
Yeah.
Because I think both of y'all have done a great job of, when people ask about this podcast, to be like, hey, here's the thing. And then it's an idea that I came up with, and people are like, hey, what about your podcast? And I'm like, it's pretty cool.
you should listen. Just give me a listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man, I think
That's
that
funny.
we like building people up. We really do. And I think that you're really good at this. But I think that you're really good at the building systems. And the team, our team, I think executes very well because we all have a different piece. And so sharing the podcast and getting it out there, that's the next step. But we've already built business. So
Yeah,
we can do this.
Now, I will say, I did have an LLC for a hot minute. This is true.
Okay.
I was the owner of Elevate Fitness.
There you
in
go.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I've got to say that's full originality. Your creativity is showing through.
Hey.
Elevate.
That's actually, again, those are just my veins pouring.
That's okay. That's
It's just my face turning red again.
Sometimes you just need to
That's
elevate
all right.
your fitness, bro.
Right, with the little water man going up.
Dude, I'm so sorry.
No,
I'm so- the
he
day that you
absolutely
showed us that,
tore
I-
into me, and I was like, "Hey, I thought this was okay,
My
but
bad.
I mean, I guess not."
I'm so sorry.
No, I mean, it was like something I paid somebody like $20 to make. It was not that big of a deal.
Good.
But yeah, I owned an
Get that
LLC.
$20 back.
I can't. It's non-refundable.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But anyway,
Just take what you get.
it was you know, I was doing the CrossFit coaching thing, and I think I was getting frustrated because I felt like we weren't pouring into people enough.
Right.
That I think most of the population out there was seeking something that we weren't necessarily able to fully give them, but I felt like I had a solution to it. So, whereas the CrossFit gym I was working at was very heavy into weightlifting. Hey, you're a dude who's 50 something and wanting to start working out and hasn't lifted a weight in 20 years, probably clean and jerk, not on his list for a few months, and
Yeah,
that's completely fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Same thing with, you know, kids, you know, moms coming in, anything like that. Their needs are a little bit different, and I don't think we had a good. I think it worked most of the time, but I think some of the times with people who really needed our help, we didn't have a way to get them there.
So you mean like the individual attention? They were lacking the individual attention or the coaching, maybe?
Individual attention, but also maybe programming tailored to what their actual goals are.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So as opposed to being more
blanket.
heavier weightlifting focused, I think I was focusing more on progression, elevation,
Waterman.
waterman, right? Where hey, we're going to take, it was like a 3-month rotating thing, kind of like a boot camp. I don't know. I've never really experienced other boot camp type places, but for people to start in, we kind of build them through these movements to where at the end they're like, oh, I had no idea I could do these things.
Right.
But since I built that foundation, as time goes on, they can do it. And at the end of the 3 months, if you're not there, that's cool. You can continue and you can get there eventually. Focusing on more aesthetics too. I mean, most of your people in today's world aren't like, I want to get as fit as possible, even though that will also make you look pretty good. Some people are like, hey, I just want to look good. I'm
Yeah.
like, cool, I can help with
Yeah.
that. Here are some exercises that aren't.
I already look good.
Yeah.
So help my body look good.
I'm trying to start up that free class, man. I really want to get.
I told him. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did in Baton Rouge for a long time. I think I did it for about 9 months. Wasn't every single Sunday, but it was most Sundays I did free class. It was
All right.
Come
Yep.
on.
There's that.
Sorry, Topo Chico fell down.
Does it have to be like a 4 or 5 a.m. kind of thing?
no.
I think 5:30 is good.
Yeah,
Not on a Sunday, bro.
no, not on a Sunday. But it's going to be so tough in the summer because it's
Why?
hot. There's no air conditioning in there,
It's
man.
only an hour. It's only what y'all only do WODs.
WODs, yeah.
You only
Workouts
do-
of the day.
You only do the WODs for like 45 minutes,
I'm the
right?
WOD father.
Yeah, you are.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
45 minutes,
Giant
right?
avocados.
45 minutes to an hour. Yeah, I think what
Yeah.
I think would
You
be
can get a
cool
couple
too,
in.
because not only from you guys, but from people I work with too, I think their interest in fitness has really shown.
Yeah.
The
It's hard to
information,
believe.
man, that's not the hard part. At least not, well, I don't know. Airrion can speak for himself, but I don't think the information for me was the hard part. And I don't look like much, but
You look like a whole snack.
You do.
Hey.
I'm getting hungry.
There you go. What's up?
snack
Anyway,
is
my workout journey has been like from 127 pounds to 165 pounds, which is a big deal for me.
That's plenty of pounds. Trust me.
That's I'm not done. But the information
Hang
wasn't
around
the
me,
issue.
I'll hook you up.
There you go. There you go. The information wasn't the issue. The issue was I needed, like, number one, I needed to find the motivation in me to just start doing it. And it's kind of like, starting a business or being driven for anything else. But the issue was, like, having the accountability. And so when Airrion started working out with me, it became, like, that much easier. Now it's, like, we're doing this together, and it's an accountability deal. Hey, going to work out. Are you coming? And
Yeah.
if
what I needed.
if your answer is no, you don't feel right about it. You're like, yeah, you're right. I'll be there.
Airrion's going to be there, so you might as well show up.
That's right. He gets there at like way too early.
How early are you working out?
Too early.
I was working out at 5 before Corona. But
Yeah.
now
Too early, man.
I gotta work 6 to 2. So
Ooh.
I worked out. This is my workout outfit.
Yeah.
I worked out before I came. Yeah.
We're also all
Wow.
wearing gray shirts, and we did
Yeah.
not
Where was
plan
my
that.
invite?
Oh,
That's rude.
sorry, man.
See, there we go. Accountability
Sorry,
lost.
bro. Just,
That's some
I just
bullshit.
went to the gym.
Yeah, we really like to air things out.
Yeah. All right.
I owe you a beer, bro. My
there's
bad.
that. Yeah, whatever. It's
I
fine.
just went to the gym and got it done.
I heard 24-hour Fitness has filed for bankruptcy.
Oh, another one.
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
one bites the
It was
dust.
like a bunch of gyms are closing.
Yeah, which is understandable because no one
'Cause
can go to the
Corona.
gym right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go.
But this cafe / bar is still open.
Come on.
So now what?
Come get you some.
Right. Let's remind the people what it is.
Yeah, Trilogy Brew. It's Trilogy Brew, baby.
Where?
Only in Old Town
Well,
Spring.
Oh, there you
It's
go.
Old Town Spring, North Houston.
Man,
so
sometimes,
if you're not in Houston, sorry.
yeah, well, I'm
Spring,
pretty sure
Texas.
our listener base is pretty
Houston.
global. I don't think it'll be a problem. But that's fine.
If you're listening in South Africa right now,
Yeah.
when you fly in.
Yeah, look at flights.
Hit us up.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
But anyway, guys, I appreciate it. I really do appreciate you pouring into me and lighting a fire under my hiney to actually try and get some things done. And I think with this podcast, and especially getting to talk to other people, I'm really excited to have conversations and learn about people.
Yeah,
But in
heck yeah.
order to do that, I need to buy more equipment.
Yep.
I hear what you're saying.
We need to get some
Capital.
interviews.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do need to get some interviews going. And I think probably for the next one, I think that's what I want to do. I want to get somebody on here, and I want to grill them.
Yeah.
I want to
All right.
ask them personal questions. I want to make them
Okay.
cry.
All right.
Tears of joy.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we should do that one on your own.
Just ask the questions and then answer them.
No,
Have
I'm
fun.
joking, but I think we got a good group of personalities here. And I think really what the main part of why I wanted to start this, no matter who listened, was I just want to have conversations with people in a setting where it's like we're not on our phones right now. Aside from Levi checking the time,
You got
All
it.
right.
we're not on our phones. We're just completely involved in talking about whatever the topic is at the time and getting to know each other. So how can I set up a point for me to be able to learn about other people? I think this is a great way to do it. So no matter
Selfish.
if we're at
Super selfish.
How do
So
I
selfish.
how-
Learn always, bro.
Yeah,
learn always.
Learn always. What was the other one? Work hard and
Work hard.
and monetize everything. Is
Damn
that
right.
it?
Wow.
Bam.
Look at that. You
I'm
nailed
pretty-
it.
It's all that
Champion.
listening I'm doing.
There you go.
Boom.
But yeah, I just want to be able to gather everyone's information and market it as my own. So I think by able to
Perfect.
gather as many people around that, it's kind of just creating like a transformer type
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
superhuman.
I love it. I think that it's going to be super successful.
I like that
Well,
you said transformer. So just for giggles,
Sure.
Do it.
what does a transformer sound like?
Yeah,
That's
Just
mine, sorry.
give it your best shot.
man. I could just think of zoop or zeep.
Really?
Yeah.
I was thinking more like. Oh man, it's changed. It used to be.
Ooh, that
Whenever
was
we
pretty
were
good. Have you seen
kids.
old school
was
Transformers?
No,
Like
I
cartoon?
can't say I've watched a ton of Transformers.
Okay, you need to go back and do that.
You use the reference, but haven't watched it.
You know, it'd be kind of sick too.
It's time to roll out.
And maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself,
Yeah.
perhaps. But like, what if we had a show where we're watching movies and then we just talked about them, or we
Okay.
read
that
books
sounds-
and we talked about
Bro.
them?
That sounds like you've already been there.
You're dipping in one of my buckets already, bro.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
I like to get my toes in all kinds of
For sure.
buckets.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Dip
See?
a toe. Ain't nobody
See?
got to know.
But listen, when you have a lot of buckets, they don't all get the same attention.
Right. I only have so many toes.
Right.
That's true.
10 buckets. That's all
true.
you get.
It's true. Yeah, cool.
But yeah, guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for listening to the Impatient Idealist podcast. Morrill Scott, Levi Wade Miller, Airrion Fontenot,
Boom.
coming at you live from Trilogy Brew in Old Town Spring,
Damn right.
Texas. And we're going to be back in 2 weeks, which is, Levi? Oh, come on.
2
You
weeks
have
from
one
now.
to-
Let's do
It's
it.
2 weeks from now.
Let's do a Saturday morning.
There we go. I like that.
Yeah, it's going to come at
We'll
you
start with
right. Yeah,
shots.
we're going to do Saturday mornings. We're going to publish it. You might not hear about it until Tuesday, because I'm pretty bad at social media stuff, but that's okay.
We're going to fix that.
Yeah, we're going to fix that. You're going to know about us. You're going to like us. You're going to love us, and you're going to tell your friends. Got
Yeah.
it? Capiche?
Yeah.
See you later.
Done. Bye.